Chapter 28. The morning light revealed the chaos of Matt's kitchen. Bullet holes riddled the refrigerator door and cabinets. The back patio door was completely gone, replaced by a sheet of clear plastic taped hastily over the frame. Shattered glass had been swept away, but the scene still resembled a war zone more than a home. Matt sat at the kitchen table nursing a cup of coffee. Across from him, Penny, pushing scrambled eggs around her plate. Neither had gotten much sleep after the forensics team had finally cleared out around 3 a.m. "I confirmed with Caitlin about the house sitting," Penny said. 2 o'clock today at her place on White Rock Lake." Matt nodded. "That was fast." "Well, having your soon-to-be ex-wife shoot up your kitchen is a pretty convincing argument for new accommodations," Penny said dryly, gesturing at the damage around them. "Alleged soon-to-be ex-wife," Matt corrected automatically. "No witnesses, no proof it was Jen." Penny rolled her eyes. "Right. Just a random person who hates your cabinets." She pulled out her phone and started typing. "Here's Caitlin's address. I'll text it to you now. Bring your badge and ID. She'll want to see both." Penny's expression suddenly turned serious. "If you show Caitlin your gun, I'll castrate you." She held his gaze, her lips curving into a half-smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "And I don't mean your service weapon." Matt choked slightly on his coffee. "I don't share. What's mine is mine. I know it's a double standard considering my line of work, but I don't care." "Wasn't planning on it," Matt managed, caught off guard by her directness. "Speaking of work," Penny said, "I'm heading out of town today." Matt's stomach clenched. He stared intently at a bullet hole in the wall. "Just for a few days," she continued, watching him carefully. "Where to this time?" he asked, though his tone made it clear he didn't really want to know. "New York." Matt nodded woodenly, refusing to meet her eyes. "Sounds good." An uncomfortable silence stretched between them. Penny finally broke it. "Matt, we should probably talk about—" "I should get going soon," he interrupted, pushing back from the table. "Lot of paperwork from yesterday." Penny's face registered disappointment, but she didn't push. This was new territory for both of them. Matt's stubborn refusal to acknowledge the reality of her profession, her uncertainty about how to navigate his discomfort. She set her mug down with a gentle clink. "Don't forget, Caitlin, 2 o'clock." Matt nodded, grateful for the subject change. "I'll try not to scare her off." "You'll be fine," she said. Matt reached for his phone as it buzzed on the table. Joe's name flashed on the screen. "Barry," he answered. Joe's voice came through. "There's been another killing." Matt stood immediately, suddenly alert. "Where?" "The bike trail." Joe recited the location. "I'm on my way." Matt ended the call, already moving toward the door. "What's happening?" Penny asked. "There's another body," Matt said, grabbing his badge and gun from the counter. "Daddy's in jail," Penny pointed out. "It wasn't him." "I know. I have to go." Matt gathered his keys, patting his pockets to ensure he had everything. Penny stopped him with a hand on his arm. "I'll clean up here." She came closer, rising on her toes to give him a lingering kiss. "Take care of yourself." Matt called his brother, Robert, as he drove. The call connected after 2 rings. "Robert Barry," his brother answered. "Hey, Robert, it's Matt." There was a brief pause. "Matt, what can I do for you?" No warmth, just business. "There's been an incident at the house," Matt said. "Someone shot up the kitchen last night." "What? What do you mean, shot up?" "I mean, someone stood on the back patio and fired a gun into the house. Multiple times. Patio door's gone. There are bullet holes in the cabinets, refrigerator, walls. It's a mess." "Jesus Christ, Matt, what did you do?" Matt's jaw clenched. "I didn't do anything. We think it was Jen." "Your wife shot up my house?" The disbelief in Robert's voice was tinged with anger. "Soon-to-be ex-wife," Matt corrected. "And yes, we think it was her." "You think?" Robert's voice rose. "You're a cop, for God's sake, don't you know?" "I don't know. I was on the floor." "Look, I just wanted to let you know about the damage." "Which you'll be paying for," Robert cut in. "Every cent." Matt had anticipated this. "Actually, I read the lease agreement. Section 8, paragraph 3. "What about it?" Robert's tone was dismissive. It says the tenant is responsible for any damage to the property caused by tenant. I didn't cause this damage, Robert. A third party did. Silence filled the line. Are you seriously trying to lawyer your way out of this? Robert finally asked. I'm not trying to lawyer anything. I'm quoting the lease that you wrote and made me sign. This isn't tenant damage. This wouldn't have happened if you weren't living there, Robert snapped. Your crazy wife wouldn't have shot up my property if you weren't in it. That's not how it works, and you know it. I didn't cause this damage. You need to be out by the end of the month. That was already the plan, remember? You already told me you found someone willing to pay full price. Just get out, and don't expect a reference. The line went dead before Matt could respond. He was unsurprised by the outcome. He'd known how the conversation would go before he made the call. Matt found the site without difficulty. Yellow crime scene tape marked the perimeter. Patrol units were positioned strategically around the area. The coroner's van had already arrived. Joe met him at the top of a small hill which led down to the bike trail. Appreciate you coming, Joe said, offering Matt a pair of latex gloves. I know you've got your hands full with Merrick in black. Matt snapped on the gloves. Who is she? Another student, Joe said. Becky Johnson, 17, junior at Vista Ridge High. Looks like she was jogging when she was attacked. The crime scene technicians moved around the body. A police photographer captured the scene from multiple angles. Even from a distance, Matt could see the victim was a young woman, her body positioned unnaturally on the ground. Cause of death? Matt asked as they descended toward the scene. Gunshot wound to the head. Single shot, small caliber, execution style. Matt searched his memory. She's not one of the gods. Why am I here? She attends Vista Ridge High School. Officially, this is being treated as unrelated American Black. Different MO, different circumstances entirely. The official position is American Black's killer is in custody. Are they stupid? Matt asked. Joe shrugged. I wanted your eyes on this. And the chief's okay with that? Let's call it a professional courtesy between colleagues. Just take a look. Tell me if you see anything. They approached the body. Dr. Sonia Rodriguez, the county medical examiner, looked up as they arrived. Gentlemen, she acknowledged them with a nod, then returned to her examination. Becky Johnson lay on her stomach, face turned to the side, a pretty girl out for a morning jog who'd met a violent end. Her blonde hair was matted with blood. Her eyes were open, the light gone from them, fixed in an eternal gaze at nothing. One shot to the head, Matt observed, examining the entry wound Rodriguez had exposed by carefully moving the victim's hair. Yes, small caliber, probably a .22, the ME confirmed. Becky was naked below the waist, her jogging shorts pulled off and tossed to the side, running shoes still laced tight. Matt circled the body, taking in the scene from different angles. This doesn't fit our killer's pattern. The staging is different. No mutilation, no ritual elements. No body parts are missing. This looks like a rape and murder. He looked toward Joe. McKnight is in custody. We know he didn't do this. Maybe he has a partner, Joe suggested, though his tone lacked conviction. The partner targets Becky to make McKnight look innocent. I don't buy it, Matt said and completed his circuit around the body. Different killer, same school, Joe said. Could be coincidence, could be copycat, could be something else entirely. Who found her? Matt asked, scanning the surrounding area. A guy walking his dogs. He's over there, Joe said, pointing to a tall, older man standing near a patrol car. 2 greyhounds sat obediently at his feet. Joe led him to the witness. This is Mr. Fraser. The man was rail-thin with deeply lined skin that spoke of years spent outdoors. Thomas Fraser, he said, and extended a hand. Matt shook his hand. Thank you for waiting, Mr. Fraser. Can you tell me what happened? I always start my run at 4:30 a.m. I've been doing it for years. I live right off the trail on Magnolia Street. Fraser gestured to the greyhounds. The boys and I start at the house and run down to the trail. Matt nodded encouragingly. Did you follow the same routine this morning? We did. We were 5 minutes into the run when the boys found her. He looked apologetically at Matt and Joe. I know there's a leash law, but in the mornings I usually let them run off leash. Not another soul around usually. Did you touch anything? Matt asked. Nothing. Fraser paused, reconsidering. Well, I took her pulse to see if she was alive. Right here. He touched his own wrist to demonstrate. When I couldn't find one, we ran back to the house and called the police immediately. I want you to think hard, Matt said. Did you see anything unusual? A car parked where it shouldn't be? Someone on the trail? I run this part of the trail every morning. I'm usually the only one on it this early. A lady that lives around here walks her dog sometimes, but she typically starts at 5 a.m. Any unusual sounds during the night? Voices? A gunshot? Fraser shook his head. I sleep with my windows closed and the air conditioning on. Wouldn't have heard a thing. His eyes drifted back toward the crime scene. That poor girl. I keep thinking about her parents. How do you tell someone their child isn't coming home? Matt didn't have an answer for that. I'm going to ask you to give a written statement to one of the officers, Joe said, signaling to a nearby patrolman. Anything to help, Mr. Fraser said. As the witness moved away with the uniformed officer, Matt turned back to Joe. What do we know about Becky Johnson? Honors student, track team, by all accounts well-liked, no known enemies. Joe pulled out his notepad. Parents reported her missing last night when she didn't come home from a study session at the library. Was she alone? Far as we can tell. Matt's phone vibrated in his pocket. He checked it. A text from Oberst about his wife's case. There was no escaping the weight of everything pressing in on him. I'd like to talk to the parents, he said. Joe nodded. I'll give them a call. The county jail's fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows across the institutional green walls. Matt followed the corrections officer down the long corridor. He's been a model prisoner so far, the CO said over his shoulder. Keeps to himself mostly. Doesn't socialize with the other inmates. Matt nodded. Any visitors? Wife and daughter came yesterday. Lawyer this morning. McKnight's lawyer cleared the interview? Matt asked, double-checking what Joe had told him earlier. Yeah, the CO replied. Guy from the public defender's office. Stevens, I think. Said he was fine with you talking to his client, but wouldn't be attending himself. The officer gave Matt a knowing look. Third bodies made things interesting. Everyone knows McKnight couldn't have done this one. They reached the interview room at the end of the hall, a stark, windowless box with a metal table bolted to the floor and two chairs facing each other. A video camera hung in one corner of the ceiling. I'll have him brought in, the officer said. You want him cuffed? Matt considered for a moment. Let's see how he responds to a little dignity. The officer nodded and left Matt alone in the room. 5 minutes later, the door opened again. Reed McKnight shuffled in, the bright orange jumpsuit. Have a seat, Mr. McKnight, Matt said, gesturing to the empty chair. My lawyer said you wanted to talk, McKnight said, eyeing Matt suspiciously as he lowered himself into the chair. Said I should cooperate since I've got nothing to hide. Where is your lawyer? Matt asked, wanting to establish clearly for the record that McKnight understood his rights. Stevens? He's got court this morning. Said this would help my case. McKnight's mouth twisted into a bitter smile. Told me to be nice to you. You understand you have the right to have your attorney present during questioning? Yeah. McKnight waved a dismissive hand. I signed the waiver. I know my rights. Let's get on with it. How are they treating you? Matt asked. McKnight snorted. 3-star accommodations. Food's terrible. Mattress is worse. And my roommate snores like a chainsaw. He leaned forward. I've told you guys everything I know. I haven't killed anyone. I didn't bury that boy in my yard, and I sure as hell didn't cut off Merrick's head. Someone is setting me up. Matt studied him for a moment and nodded. Another body was discovered this morning, Matt said, watching McKnight's face for any reaction. McKnight's eyes widened, genuine surprise registering in his expression. Then came something else. Relief. He spread his hands. I don't know anything about a body, he said. I had nothing to do with the first two. I have nothing to do with this one. He paused, brow furrowing. Who was it? Matt believed him. The reaction seemed genuine. Not the practiced innocence of a skilled liar, but the unvarnished response of a man who realized he now had an alibi. Another high school student, Becky Johnson, junior at Vista Ridge. She was found on the bike trail this morning. McKnight shook his head. Jesus, what's happening at that school? He leaned back, something like hope crossing his features. So you believe me now, right? I couldn't have done this one. I've been sitting right here. Do you own any firearms, Mr. McKnight? Matt asked, not acknowledging the question. McKnight leaned forward. You guys searched my place. This girl was killed sometime last night, Matt pressed. Single gunshot to the head. Small caliber weapon. There you go, McKnight said, jabbing a finger toward Matt. I've been sitting here in jail. It wasn't me. It wasn't me for any of them. Do you have any enemies? Matt asked. Anyone that would want to set you up? Anyone with enough hatred to murder teenagers just to frame you? McKnight's expression darkened. He pointed a finger at Matt. Now you're talking. I've been thinking about the same thing ever since they locked me up. Cal Merrick, for one. Raymond's father? Yeah, that rich bastard has it in for me. You've seen him. Man's got a temper. He's been telling anyone who'll listen that I killed his boy. Maybe he decided to make sure I went down for it. By killing more teenagers? Matt asked skeptically. I don't know how these rich folks think. Maybe in his mind, the more bodies, the less likely anybody looks at him. McKnight paused, considering. He's got money, connections. Could hire somebody to do his dirty work. Anyone else? Look, I'm a bastard, but I can't think of anyone else I've pissed off enough to do this to me. Not like this. McKnight's voice dropped. It takes a special kind of sick to kill kids. Are you involved in any schemes where a partner might want you out of the way? Drug deals, money laundering? Anything illegal that someone might want to keep quiet? McKnight looked genuinely offended. Nothing. I know my rap sheet says I'm a bad guy, but I've been trying hard to stay out of trouble, to be there for my wife and daughter. He shook his head sadly. You know, until this all started, I was optimistic. Things were going well. Matt watched McKnight's face, looking for tells, for micro-expressions that might betray deception. He saw none. Have you heard anything in here? Matt asked. Inmates talk. Anyone bragging about the murders? Anyone know something they shouldn't? Nothing. Listen to me. My daughter was hurt by those boys. I wanted justice. Through the courts. I didn't want anyone dead. Matt considered this. The girl who was killed, Becky Johnson, did your daughter know her? Were they friends? McKnight frowned, thinking. I don't think so. Penny never mentioned a Becky, but they went to the same school, so who knows? What about you? Ever meet her? Ever have any interaction with her family? Number never heard the name before today. Matt waited. Look, McKnight said, I've got a record. I've done things I'm not proud of, but I didn't kill those kids, and now there's proof I couldn't have killed at least one of them. So when are you letting me out of here? Not my call, Matt said. McKnight didn't seem surprised. If you think of anything else, any name, any connection, anything at all, let your lawyer know immediately, Matt said. McKnight nodded. Yeah, sure. Matt pulled up to large wrought iron gates. The navigation on his phone announced, "You have arrived at your destination," which seemed premature considering the actual house wasn't yet visible beyond the tree-lined entrance. He rolled down his window and pressed the intercom button. Hi there, a cheerful female voice came through the speaker. Matt Berry? That's me. Come on up. The gates swung open. Matt drove through, following the curved driveway that wound through manicured gardens before opening to reveal the house, though house seemed inadequate. Mansion was more appropriate. He parked and stepped out. Before he reached the door, it swung open. Caitlin Fallon stood in the entryway, barefoot, dressed in jeans and an oversized white button-up that probably cost more than his monthly rent. In person, she was even more striking than on screen, tall and slender with blonde hair pulled back in a casual ponytail. Her face was mostly makeup-free, revealing a light dusting of freckles across her nose and cheeks. You must be Matt. She extended her hand with an easy smile. I'm Caitlin. Ms. Fallon, Matt said, aware that he was staring. It's nice to meet you. Just Caitlin, please. She rolled her eyes good-naturedly. Ms. Fallon makes me sound ancient, and I'm only 26. She stepped back, gesturing him inside. Come in. Sorry about the security measures. Can't be too careful these days. Matt entered a foyer with soaring ceilings and a massive chandelier. The floor was polished white marble that reflected the sunlight streaming through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Beyond the foyer, he could see glimpses of the lake. Quite a place, he managed, turning slowly to take it all in. It's a bit much, isn't it? Caitlin laughed. But I fell in love with the view. Come on, I'll give you the tour. She led him through the house, chatting comfortably as though they were old friends. The living room featured an enormous sectional sofa facing a fireplace and an equally enormous television. The dining room held a table that could seat 12. The chef's kitchen was all gleaming stainless steel and marble countertops. This is where I spend most of my time when I'm home, Caitlin said, running her hand along the kitchen island. I love to cook. Stress relief. Matt nodded, trying to imagine this Hollywood star chopping vegetables. It's a beautiful kitchen. Caitlin continued the tour, showing him the pool area with its infinity edge overlooking the lake, the home theater, and finally what would be his quarters, a guest suite with its own sitting area and bathroom. This would be your space, she said. The rest of the house is yours to use, of course, but I figured everyone needs their own private corner. Matt nodded, feeling increasingly out of place. His entire house could fit in this one suite. It's very generous. They returned to the kitchen where Caitlin pulled out 2 bottles of water from the refrigerator and handed one to Matt. She leaned against the island, studying him with curious blue eyes. So, Penny says you're with the Texas Bureau of Investigation? Matt nodded, reaching for his credentials. Special agent. I can show you my badge and ID if you'd like. Please. Not that I don't trust Penny. Matt showed her his identification, which she examined briefly before nodding. Perfect. She handed back his credentials. I have to admit, Matt said, feeling slightly awkward, I'm a little starstruck. I fell in love with you in the midnight hour. Caitlin looked at him for a moment, her expression unreadable. Then without warning, she let out a surprisingly long, loud belch that echoed in the cavernous kitchen. How about now? She asked with a mischievous grin. Matt blinked in surprise, then couldn't help laughing. Okay, that helps. Caitlin's smile brightened. Good. I find it's the fastest way to get past all that celebrity nonsense. So here's the deal, she said, her tone becoming more businesslike. I'm leaving for Prague next week to film a new project. I'll be gone at least 9 months. I need someone I can trust to keep an eye on the place. There's no rent, and I expect you to live here. Penny mentioned that, Matt said. I value my privacy, Caitlin continued. I don't want photos of my home appearing online, no parties, no unauthorized guests. The security system is top-notch, but a human presence is better deterrence for the really determined fans. I understand. Did Penny mention we might be here as a couple? He asked, not wanting any surprises down the road. She tilted her head, scrutinizing him. She did. You must be pretty special. Matt blinked. Excuse me? For Penny to be dating you, Caitlin clarified, a small smile playing at her lips. She's pretty special herself. I was curious about the kind of guy she let get close. Matt shifted uncomfortably. We've only known each other a short while. I wouldn't say I'm special. Caitlin's smile widened. Modest, too. I like that. She pushed off from the counter and walked to a drawer, pulling out an envelope. All the bills are on autopay, but here's some cash for emergencies. $5,000 should cover anything unexpected. Matt stared at the envelope she held out. That's not necessary. Take it, she insisted. Better to have it and not need it. Reluctantly, he accepted the envelope, feeling the weight of the cash inside. Oh, and one more thing, Caitlin added. Sometimes friends of mine might stop by to use the place. I'll try to give you a heads up, but occasionally things happen last minute. Friends? Matt asked. Other actors, industry people. Nothing wild, I promise. Matt nodded. Understood. Great, Caitlin beamed. I'll have my assistant draw up a simple agreement. When can you move in? As soon as you need me to, Matt replied, still not quite believing this was happening. Perfect. I leave Saturday. You can move in on Sunday. She extended her hand again. Welcome to the team, Matt. Thank you for the opportunity, he said, shaking her hand. Thank Penny, Caitlin replied with a knowing smile. She's the one who vouched for you.